everything you need. Come, brothers and sisters, we're scattering the Savior seed. Come, brothers and sisters, we'll give you everything you need. Come, brothers and sisters, we're scattering the Savior seed. Shades forever drifting nowhere, ever head confined. Outside the gates, a taste of freedom so rare, worlds I long to find. I can hear the distant call. There is no easy way out of here. There is no easy way. There is so much more beyond these walls. There is no easy way out of here. There is no easy way, persevere. to party in the dust and the sand. Chip on your shoulder, sweat and dirt on your hands. Machines in slumber start to lumber outside. Head for a number, see the colors collide. Search safest sanctuary, dropping them dollars on you, thank you very much. By the way, no refunds, back into the boneyard, badlands we run. I saw a siren singing, shifting through the shots, a ringing, frying, burning, guts a stinging, bringing you the pain. Come on down and join the party tonight. We ain't the kind to turn away from a fight. Chips on the shoulders, sweat and dirt on our hands, 'cause we're breaking down the borders as we light up the land, yeah.
Good morning, friends, and welcome to my painting stream. Hi, everybody. I'm Andrew, and I am also known as Thanatos here in the internet. And this is my painting stream where I spend time sending stuff to the internet. Sorry, I'm just tweeting out that I am live so that folks know, and that they know that we're doing an ExtraLife fundraiser. Right there, ExtraLife. And that I am finally going to start putting some paint on this Be'lakor figure. If you've been watching this week, you will be familiar with this fellow. This is Be'lakor, a demon from Warhammer 40k and Age of Sigmar. He's legal in both. And I am going to be painting him up, and he could be yours. If you go to the Battleground Games ExtraLife fundraiser and donate at the $10 Be'lakor tier. There are several incentives listed, and one of them is this Be'lakor figure. The way it works is on November 7th, during the ExtraLife Marathon, which is a 25-hour gaming marathon we're going to be doing, we will be drawing a winner on that donation drive. And everybody who has donated at that tier will be entered to possibly win this Be'lakor figure, get to take it home and use it in whatever battles they choose to use it in. I have spent the entire week assembling it. Sorry, I'm just posting the ExtraLife. There we are. There's the link in my chat. So if you are watching in the VOD, or if you are live here on Twitch, you will see a link there that will take you to our ExtraLife fundraising team. Just go to Battleground Games Live. It's one of the participants there, and they have the incentives listed there. Man, my brain is not working today. That's fine. Everything is fine, chat. I am perfectly fine with painting even when my brain isn't working. Especially since we're going to start working on the base for Be'lakor. I figured this is going to be the most monotonous, possibly boring piece to paint of this colossal miniature. He's not very miniature. So I want to get it out of the way. Part of the reason that it's going to be boring, like, it's got a lot of great detail. It's got a lot of very cool things going on with it, but I am going to be trying to de-accentuate those things because I don't want them to pull focus from the mini itself. So it's going to be very muted, dark. The exception being, there are these sort of rivulets running throughout the base, cracks, and let's go over to zoom cam. I don't know if you'll be able to see it since it is matte black right now, but there's a lot of sort of rivulets and stuff running through the base here. Those are going to be a bright, bright green. So let me grab a couple of greens and yellows. I'm actually going to start with those, and we're going to work from there. And then we're going to do everything else. So, yes, this is the most boring piece, but it's also going to be, hopefully, not completely dead looking. Little dust on it there. Got a lot of skulls to paint. So normally I do skulls in a very in a bone color, but these guys I'm going to do in a sort of a brown, I think. Again, muting the whole thing. We'll do skulls next. First, we're going to figure out where the light is going to come from in this piece. I'm going to start with a lime green. And we'll be adding a lot of different tones and stuff to this as we go. Oh, you know what? I wish I could find... My workspace is such a mess here. I'm using my Citadel Army Painter wet palette. Sorry, not Citadel Army Painter. And it comes with official hydro sheets. And I put them somewhere safe and promptly lost them. I don't know where I put them. That's fine, I'll find them between streams. In the meantime, I'm just going to use a piece of wax paper. Goal is not to get this completely wet, but the damp is going to seep up through it and thin my paints as I go. Last time I was painting, I had soaked the pad a little bit too much, I think. It's a delicate balance, how wet you want the pad. Anywho. It's exciting. Aside from the one thing I like about the wet palette is it doesn't require very much paint, because it's going to thin the paint as you go. You don't need as much paint on it. Now we're just going to paint some lines in here. The first paint on this model, after an entire 4 days assembling it. It's not completely assembled. The wings don't have they have a bunch of chains like this hanging from the wings, and I have chosen not to attach those because I want to be able to get in and do the wing detail. So, I've seen a lot of different Bellicores, because I belong to several Warhammer painting groups, and you get to see the Bellicores that people have painted. A lot of them have lava running through these cracks, so reds and oranges. But I wanted to do something unique, because I am not one for doing the same as everybody else. I don't tend to paint my models to the particular recommended paint scheme. I like to be more creative. So when I was looking at this, I figured we're not going to do fire. We're going to do a sort of sickly eldritch glow. I am going to do some OSL and have the green reflected off of parts of the model and off of the rocks around them. But I want sort of a mystical energy vibe to it. There are so many of these little cracks and crevices to do. It's going to take a little while to get them all. I'm actually curious how this is going to work ultimately. Like, I have the concept in my head, and I am looking forward to seeing how it looks realized outside of the model. So I'm going to have to go back in here and get these edges. I'm sort of getting them a little bit now, but we're going to be painting over all of these rocks. And I do want the glow reflected. So I'm going to have to go back in and probably dry brush in around the edges of this. I've given myself an entire month to paint this figure, and I hope that is sufficient time to do it justice. Don't have to be very precise here, because again, this is just the first of many layers. But you begin to get the idea that I'm going for here, I hope. It's going to be less apparent on the outside, I think. Although there are still, it does still have rivulets running down through it, so I guess I'll have some on the outside as well. My goal is to try and get at least a base coat done on most of this stone today. Next week is going to be interesting. Amanda and I have a guest visiting, and my painting nook here is in our guest room. So I may have to paint in the kitchen or something next week. I'll figure it out. Very obviously, this base is not a natural formation. So I think it's okay that the normally I would say it doesn't make physics sense for the glow to come all the way from the top of these little spires here. Right? How does the molten rock get pumped up into these little spires? But since I'm doing this as sort of a green eldritch fire rather than lava, and since this is so obviously an artificial formation, I'm less concerned with that. So I've been thinking a lot about Bellacor's wings, because they're the piece of this model that most made me want to paint it. Just looking at the box, I was like, those wings are awesome, and I can't wait to paint them. And the scheme that I have in mind, which I talked about last time I was live on Wednesday, I'm going to be doing them as if they are a rend in the fabric of reality looking into a starry void with stars and nebulas whirling within them. It's an ambitious plan. But I've been thinking about how this eldritch fire and the flames of his sword and the flames on the corpses at his feet, there's lots of fire involved in this model. Hopefully by the end of next week I'll be able to get started on his sword arm. But just look at that. Look at the sculpt is fantastic. Slightly bowed. But anyways, just fantastic flames coming up off the sword. I'm doing those in green as well. And then we're going to do some OSL effects to have the light reflected off of his body. And of course, he's going to have a wing right behind that sword. This wing here attaches like here. So light from here would reflect on the lower portion of this wing. And I have an idea for that, which is that the light will be reflected off the fingers and the chains, but not off of the wing itself. in the same way that if you have a campfire in the woods, the campfire is reflected on the trees but not the stars, because the night sky is so very far away. So we'll see how that looks. Again, it's a high concept thing. We'll see how it looks when we get to that. I'm thinking about using some Stuart Semple Black 3.0, which Amanda has in a small vial, on the wings to give them that extra depth. For anybody unfamiliar with Stuart Semple and Black 3.0, it is not Vanta Black, but it is one of the blackest paints you can possibly get, in that it is almost 100% absorbent and does not reflect light at all. And I think that might help to sell my concept of the wings being a rend in the fabric of reality. That they are a window into a void. So, that's something I'm contemplating. Pretty happy with how this is looking so far. It's quite bright, which was the intention. Just an awful lot of it. This little slot here is where one of his feet goes. Kind of like the obsidian black look for the base. Maybe I keep that, because I'm going to be doing Bellicor himself in grays, and I don't want him to blend into the base, really. I was thinking of doing the base in grays, but maybe I keep it primarily black. Tricky. I agree, Lobster. I think black might be the way to go. I probably want to clean it up a little bit because I'm painting up onto it a fair amount here. Hopefully, as I've said before, hopefully I've given myself enough time that I can waste some time doing multiple layers, creating illusions. It's looking very much how I envisioned it, really. So if I'm keeping this black and going for an obsidian look, I'll have to do white highlights on it, make it look sort of like reflective black glass. Yeah, sort of a black lava effect. The solidifying stone floating on a lava surface obviously is going to look very, very dark, very black in comparison to the glow of the lava. I like how, I don't know if you folks can see it, but there are actual drips carved into the lava that runs between these pieces. Like right here, there's a little cascading waterfall, and it looks viscous and thick, like melted candle wax. It's a great color, though. Making good progress so far. When we're finished with all this green lava, I'll work on skulls and other bones. It is nice to finally be putting some color on this after spending several days on construction. Pretty pleased that you can't really see it. One of the magnets that I installed is right there, and one of them is right there. And they blend pretty well. finished with this base, I have to paint the figures that I magnetized that latch onto it. I'm still debating on whether I extend some of this out to the round base that goes under this. The official painting guide for Be'lakor shows this, the dirt at the edge of this here extending out to the end with some basing grit and, oh no, my paper towel. And some tufts. And I may do that because I love tufts. I love doing that stuff. Get my hair in my coffee. Okay, we're good. We're all good. Always be sure you're cleaning your brushes, chat. What you absolutely do not want is the paint getting any further up the brush than this, because if it gets into there, that's when the brush starts to splay, because the paint has gotten down into the base of the brush and it forces the bristles apart, which you do not want. So my hope for today is that I finish with this, the rivulets, and I get the skulls done. Maybe get some paint on these chains back here. Here you can see a good example of what I was talking about with the melted wax texture that they've got. Looks great. Progress. We're almost done with the interior. But there's the entire exterior portion to paint as well. Really, this is quite a large hunk of plastic. And there's a lot to work with here. A lot of area to cover. This is where his other foot goes. So I haven't gone as far as making an actual timeline to make sure that I have enough time to finish painting this guy before ExtraLife. I'm just sort of winging it, but I believe I've got enough time allocated. Today is the 8th of October, and I have until the 6th of November to finish this. So I've got almost a month. In that time, I have to finish this base, obviously. I have to work on the extra bits that go on the base. That will probably take most of next week, maybe, before I can start on Be'lakor himself. And then when I get to him, his wings I want to dedicate about a week and a half to, because his wings are one of the major focal points, and I want to spend a lot of time getting them to look the way I want them to look. And that leaves me about a week and a half to work on Bellacore himself. And he's got several areas of interest. Obviously, I'm going to spend some time on his face, because that's one of the areas that the eye is naturally drawn to when you look at a model. So I want it to look really interesting and good. His sword is going to be a couple of days' work. He's got this loincloth with skulls and chainmail and stuff. It's probably going to be a day. A lot to do. So I really hope I have adequate time allocated for this. Took the day off yesterday from painting because I have a whole bunch of chores that needed to get done before our guest arrives. And hopefully that didn't doom me. What are we doing today? About halfway through today's stream? Okay. That's fine. I don't want all of this green lava to be a single color either. So we're going to have to go back in and add highlights to it at some point. Probably not today. Time management is one of those skills that I always need to work on. My wife is very good at it. She's good at figuring out, this is going to take this much time, and this is going to take this much time, and budget some extra into there because, something might take longer than you anticipated. She's really good at time estimates. Me, not so much. I guess it's sort of my general attitude of just winging it. It's like, okay, here's how much time I have. That's how much time it's going to take. I have a month, so this is going to take a month. And hopefully, that's enough time to do it the way I want it done. Oh, I like this. There's lava gushing from this skull on the back here. I know I say it all the time, but I love the sculpts that Games Workshop does. Their sculptors are so talented. I love that there's so much detail on the back side of this. This is going to be probably facing forward the majority of the time. But sometimes people will look at the back and you'll see all this stuff in here. Good job that the model is interesting, 365 degrees. Yes, I'm going to use the same green for the flames, though I'm going to brighten those up a bit more. And yes, Slimer green. I'm going to have to stream on Sunday, which means I'll probably be streaming from my kitchen on Sunday. Just realizing how much needs to get done here. Not sure what's going on here with these skulls just wedged in here. I mean, it's a cool look. this this whole base is erupting up out of a graveyard or something, and these skulls are just suspended in it. Love what you've done with the base, Bellicor. This old thing, I just threw it together. One thing I enjoy about doing these streams is I get to look back and see how things improve. Like, this is kind of sloppy right now. Just glopping paint on, it's getting everywhere. But I know I'm going to come back in here, paint over some of the sloppy areas to make it look a little more refined. And it's a little bit of, inside baseball. You get to see how the effect is achieved, messy though it may be. I was hoping I would be able to have time to do skulls and chains and stuff, but I feel like I'm only going to have time today to do lava. An entire day dedicated to lava. just not used to painting things on this scale. There's so much of it. Going through a lot of paint here too. Well, not a lot, but having to get multiple drops of paint out. Well, it's coming together though. It's beginning to look pretty good. Whew, alright, maybe another 15 minutes worth of painting lava, and then we can do some other details. You may recall this right here was one of the areas we could customize. That's where the Space Marine's gun would have gone, right here, but I chose not to go that route. I was like, this is going to be behind this wheel, so it's somewhat obscured. So I didn't bother magnetizing that bit. I just put skulls there. I have a lot of touching up to do on the edges of all of these. I mean, yes, I do want the illusion of light reflected off of the surrounding terrain. I don't want it looking quite this messy. There's another of these skulls just gushing. The physics of this do not make sense in some of these places. I mean, it's a cool sculpt, but this lava is not flowing in a flowy way. Like right here, comes down and then flows into the ground here. It just doesn't look quite right. The way it comes down here, sort of clings to the wall and flows sideways. Well, it's supernatural lava. Something cool and unsettling about that. I also really like how the sculpt incorporates the joins between the pieces into the lava flow. Like right here, this is where one of the bits are glued into each other. In fact, there's a slight gap there because I didn't make the seal as good as it could be. But it works okay because it's where the lava flows.
You've been breathing smoke inside this trial of fire, but you got through. And I know the world's gone wrong, but you're still present, you're still strong. Hold on.
Almost done with the lava. I think we're on the last bits here.
It's been a long year. It's been so heavy on your soul. And though your scars have hardened and have turned to armor, it took
I think that's it. Okay. I'm going to have to add highlights to the lava. We're going to have to paint around the lava where I blepped the paint a little bit further than it ought to go. But I think we're pretty much done with that. Whew, alright, so that only took an hour and 45 minutes or so. Call it an hour and a half. I'm going to do these chains quickly. Shouldn't take too long. Just a base coat on the chains. We're going to be doing a lot more with them. We're going to start them as a sort of a grayish, I think. Again, trying to keep the rock and such on this toned down somewhat, because we don't want to distract from Bellicor himself. He's going to be what we want folks to pay attention to, not so much the base. Adding some dry brushing, probably adding some rust to this, but this is just a base coat. trying to decide what color to make this wheel here. When I was doing the Warcry terrain, there were a bunch of wheels like that, and I made them sort of a brass. So I might try and do that effect with that wheel on this base. Kind of don't want to stop, chat. I want to just keep going, but I have stuff to do. I have to attend to laundry and vacuuming and various chores, and of course I have work today, so I cannot just paint indefinitely today. That's not a hook, that's his jaw hanging off there. That shouldn't be metal colored. This bit right here, chat, annoys me. There is a link hanging right here that does not have a hollow bit to the sculpt. Because obviously this was stamped, you know, from these sides, so you couldn't have a hollow bit there. So I just have to paint it in. Fine. Making progress. And my paint water is so green. almost done with this chain. And then I've got one more chain to go. So chat, my plan is to be back on Sunday. And on Sunday, we'll try and finish the base coat for this base. We'll still have a lot to go. Like, we'll still have to do a lot of highlights and light sourcing and all that sort of stuff. But hopefully we'll have the main colors settled. Made significant progress today. I'm pretty happy with what we were able to accomplish. I mean, it's looking good. Let's see if I can finish this other chain. Work on skulls and bones and all this earth around the outside edge on Sunday. Obviously tomorrow I have to be at work, so I cannot dedicate a bunch of time to streaming tomorrow. But at least this begins to give an impression of my vision, right? You look at this and you begin to understand the direction that I'm going with it. It's nice to finally begin to get paint onto this model. Even if it's only very rudimentary so far. This skull here has a ponytail. How does that make sense? Sunday, plan will be skulls and earth. A lot of browns. Browns and golds. And the other side. Yeah. We're just going to have enough time today to finish these chains. And then I'm going to wrap up for the day. Got a good start on this base. We've made some choices. Like, I'm pretty locked in now on the idea of doing, of leaving the majority of this base black. Making it look like obsidian. Volcanic rock, obviously. Could have done better on that link there. So we've got a pretty good idea of what this is going to look like in its final form. Just going to take a little while to get there. Almost there. Getting close. Close to done with these chains. Well, I say done. Done with the base coat for these chains. They're going to have a lot more going for them by the time I'm done. That's pretty much there. Whew. Okay. Think I'm going to wrap things up there, chat. Thank you, as always, for joining me. And don't forget, if you're just tuning in, that this could be yours. I am going to be giving this away to the winner of a drawing to be held during our ExtraLife marathon. To enter into that drawing, what you need to do is you need to go to our ExtraLife fundraising page, go to Battleground Games' fundraising page, and there it is, so far. And donate at the $10 incentive for Bellacore. Just seal this up. Ooh. Yep. There we go. Ah, lovely. And I will see you, my friends, on Sunday, when I will continue to work on the base for Bellacore. Hopefully on Sunday I will be finishing the base coat on the base so that we can start in on washes and dry brushing and try and finish work on that. And then we'll be working on the little figures that go on the base, and then we'll start work on Bellacore. So 28 days to go, chat. 28 days until ExtraLife, until the marathon. Hopefully that is enough time to get this done. We'll probably see you... Lobster may not be there, but we will hopefully be seeing folks on Amanda's chat over at twitch.tv/MerrimanLion. She will be reading more of Terry Pratchett's Jingo tonight at 10 p.m. Tomorrow, I believe our friend Insidious Pie will be doing play-along games. I think that starts at 6 on Saturdays over at twitch.tv/InsidiousPie. And I will be back this coming Sunday to do more work on the base for Bellacore. So, thank you so much for joining me, friends. Be excellent to each other and enjoy whatever art it is you choose to do. I'll see you again soon.